A very good morning. You're watching the morning news. This is the first bulletin of the day on TV3 right here on New Day. This bulletin is coming to you live from the news app here at the Sawikanda. We are live on Facebook, TV3 Ghana, and on GSTV channel 279. My name is Josh Quinnin. Top of the stories is that. Energy Minister formally rise to National Investigations Bureau to investigate over 1,000 missing containers belonging to the ECG from the Tama port. And Speaker of Parliament releases two members of Parliament, Mustafa Yusuf and Kwame Asare-Obeng, to National Investigations Bureau for investigations. Also coming up this morning, Supreme Court ordered lawyers for NDC parliamentary candidates of Oblekuma North, Okaikwe Central, Techiman South and Tema Central to file documents in response to the Electoral Commission. We have details of these stories and many more coming up in the next 20 minutes if you spend your time with me. Also, get interactive with us. We are live on Facebook, TV3 Ghana. Let's begin from the Energy Ministry. And because the Minister, Dr. Don Junapo, has written to Director of National Investigations Bureau to investigate missing containers belonging to the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, at the Tama port. In a requested dated April 2, 2025, the minister said the finalization of the investigation of the committee tasked to investigate the missing containers indicated that 1,357 of the containers could not be accounted for, thus allegedly missing. And his request follows findings of a technical committee that was set up to investigate 2,500 missing ECG containers. He is accordingly praying the NIB to commence investigations into the missing containers and furnish the ministry with the findings of the investigations. There will be more on this story in our subsequent bulletins. Well, away from that, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has released two members of Parliament to the National Intelligence Bureau for interrogations. They are MP for Goma Central, Kwame Asare-Obeng, A+, and MP for Yagaba Kubori, Mustafa Yusuf. A letter from the Clerk of Parliament directed both lawmakers to avail themselves to the NIB in Parliament on Monday, April 7, in the company of their lawyers. This letter is, however, silent on the reasons for the request by the NIB. An investigative report by the Fourth Estate cited him as part of the persons allegedly involved in the ghost name scandal. Also, his name has been cited in controversies surrounding the budget for the All-African Games, which Ghana hosted under his watch as then Sports Minister. For Kwame Asare-Obeng, known as A+, he recently threatened to expose the identity of the person who was allegedly involved in contracting assailants to murder investigative journalist Ahmed Swale, should the police fail to provide any updates. Earlier this week, he also revealed that a truck carrying suspected missing cables belonging to the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, was impounded in his constituency. These are the immediate issues surrounding these two MPs, but we will keep close eyes on the NIB invitation for further updates. Meanwhile, Executive Director of the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs, Dr. Rashid Draman, has said the Speaker must be commended for taking the decision. He says the move shows that lawmakers are not above the law despite their immunity. Take a listen.
MPs, despite the fact that they enjoy some immunities under Article 77 of the Constitution and so on, when it borders on criminality and so on, I think they have to avail themselves to answer. And going through, Parliament and following the right procedure, I think makes this, very tidy. Because at the end of the day, many might be asking, okay, now Article 77 says when you are on your way to Parliament or conducting parliamentary business or, attending to Parliament and so on, they are on recess. But even when they are on recess, they engage in parliamentary business. I mean, most of them are traveling, most of them are doing work in their constituencies, and some of those things that they are doing are all businesses of parliament. So I think the Right Honourable Speaker should be celebrated. I mean, we have to have these clearly laid down procedures, and that, there's nobody who is above the law, and when members of parliament are needed, they must be released to answer questions, so that at least it doesn't seem to be like they are making the laws, but are living above the laws that they make the rest of us as ordinary citizens.
Well, away from Parliament, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakufibua, says more stringent regulations and measures are going to be enforced to tackle the menace of illegal mining. At a press briefing Thursday, the minister said so far about 76 illegal miners have been arrested, 100 excavators seized, and 7 forest reserves have been reclaimed.
Government reaffirmed its commitment to eradicating illegal mining, with the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakufibua, vowing to use all lawful means to combat the menace. Speaking at a press briefing on Thursday, the minister outlined a 5-pillar strategy to tackle illegal mining.
We have also, as you know, within this short period, brought about the Blue Water Initiative, which target is to train 2,000 young people as blue water guards to monitor and report illegal activities. I said that these are not soldiers, but they are basically security personnel trained to coordinate with the Ghana Navy, trained as intelligence officers as well, trained in swimming to really help the Navy. We have come up with a comprehensive program, the Tree for Life initiative, which aims to plant over 7 million seedlings to restore degraded and mined-out areas nationwide. The objective of this initiative is to transform heavily degraded areas into functional, vibrant ecosystems that support biodiversity and human livelihoods.
He added government has reclaimed 7 out of 9 forest reserves previously controlled by armed illegal miners.
The reclaimed reserves are Jemra and Jemra Extension, Afao Hills, Tano Offering Shelter Belt, Anyasu East, and Ashanti South and Subri. Efforts are ongoing to reclaim the other 2.
The minister urged traditional leaders, local assemblies, and civil society to support the fight against illegal mining.
And our work is progressing steadily on the 82 million cedi bridge construction over the Tano River that runs through Sefirioso to Nzaura in the Western North region. At 60% progression rate, government has commended the local contractor to find the unending rains in the region to build the bridge that will open up the Western North enclave as a food basket.
As you can see clearly, what our friend and contractor Asabia is doing is trying to put a bridge across the Tano River. And clearly, it's about 60% complete. We hope that in the next week, as he clearly stated, we will start launching the beams. The rainfall is a problem. Contractors that come here always have challenges with the duration of contract because as we always plan, we give them a year or 2. But because of the rainfall pattern, it becomes very, very difficult for them to be able to meet the demands. Roads deteriorate very fast. There are new methods and techniques that we apply. We hope that we'll be able to improve the network in the northern and the Western North region.
Building a bridge where you need to put piers in the riverbed in Western region. In fact, even if this were to be in a drier region, it's not that easy. So do this in the Western North region. It's very challenging. That is why I want to commend Asabia Engineering specifically about it. Without a doubt, it's one of our local stars in terms of bridges. You look at the price that we are told this is the contract price. Believe me, if this were to be done by a foreign company in Accra, they would have been talking about multiple millions of dollars. But this is a homegrown solution to some of the problems we have. So I want to commend the leader of Asabia Engineering for providing a solution that works for us. he's buying into the president's idea that you can work more than the time that you need to work. So I've seen on the side that he's declared a 24-hour economy working here. 24-hour economy is not about a construction project. It's about a policy to drive our understanding of the way we do things. So he's applying that if he's going to take 8 to 5 times 10 days, because of the situation, he would rather do 24 hours to shorten the.
In more news this morning, some Ghanaians have welcomed the cancellation of the electronic transfer levy, E-levy, with excitement, calling on government to lessen the cost of living burden on citizens. TV3 can confirm that major charging entities have stopped deductions for E-levy after the Ghana Revenue Authority's directive. Christian Yale performed some transactions and has father's report.
Consequent to President Mahama's assent and the GRA directive to charging entities, I put up a test to find out whether the charges or deductions for E-levy have been officially stopped. I first transferred an amount of 870 cedis from my bank account to my mobile money wallet, and out of that 870 cedis that I transferred, there was no charge for E-levy.
But it is worth noting that, according to the law, a transfer from one's bank account to the mobile money wallet shouldn't be taxed. I used to suffer E-levy charges whenever doing bank transfers to Momo wallet because I had not captured my Ghana card details on my bank account for that purpose.
And then a few minutes after midnight on Thursday, I then transferred 869 cedis from my Telecel cash wallet to a mobile money wallet, which also did not attract any E-levy charge.
The 2 billion Ghana cedis that government is going to lose will now come to Ghanaians. So in effect, individual Ghanaians who ordinarily would have lost 2 billion Ghana cedis will now retain their 2 billion Ghana cedis.
On Thursday, MTN Ghana announced that it has officially removed E-levy deductions from mobile money transactions. What is clear is that all illegal deductions made after the GRA order will be refunded to affected customers.
If this is the reason why we are repealing the E-levy, then E-levy is 1%. Why don't we go and repeal VAT, which is about 17%, if we are looking at ensuring that there's disposable income for citizens?
The E-levy, which was initially introduced at 1.75% before being revised to 1%, imposed taxes on electronic transactions, including mobile money payment, bank transfers, and inward remittances. It faced huge backlash and opposition from the public, who described it as a burden and failed to raise expected revenue.
I say it's a very good one. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the NDC has proven beyond reasonable doubt that they are for the people. When you are being paid your salary, and then you are being deducted your taxes, and then you decide to keep your money in your mobile money wallet, and you make up your mind to do any electronic transaction, the government says, which is the past government, will still take money from you, which is stealing. It is double taxation.
So what might be bring account when you be bring account? Oh, at least you could have lot of fairness or home. And also now on home.
The repeal of this tax is expected to revitalize the sector, boost digital transactions, and enhance financial inclusion. Christian Yale, TV3 News.
Well, let's listen on the E-levy because Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, Anthony Kwesi Sapon, has warned that any charging entity that deliberately fails to comply with the newly abolished E-levy law will face sanctions. Speaking on the sidelines of the GRA's management strategic engagement, Sapon revealed that the authority has devised a plan to support electronic money issues and telcos in implementing the new law. Take a listen to Sapon.
It's a significant development as it previously imposed a 1% tax on electronic transactions. The GRA's program of action aims to facilitate a seamless transition for affected entities, ensuring they adhere to the new regulations. The GRA will rigorously enforce compliance with the new law, holding accountable any entity that deliberately fails to do so.
We had a lengthy conversations with the charging entities, and we prepared a program of action to enable them implement the law as soon as it comes into effect. But if for any reason anybody has suffered the E-levy in this intervening period, the assurance to every Ghanaian is that we're going to go back to reconcile with all the charging entities and make sure that anybody who has suffered the levy from 00 hours of 2nd April will get their refund duly given to them.
The GRA management's retreat is to help fashion out strategies to enable the authority achieve the 220 billion cedis revenue target. The engagement is focused on taxpayer compliance, widening the tax net, paying tax on time, tax reforms through retooling, digitization, customer-centered service and officer professionalism. Representing the Finance Minister, Director for Revenue Policy at the Sector Ministry, Daniel Nua, noted that there is the need to commence a complete overhaul of the country's tax system.
To rationalize the tax system and improve tax collections to ensure that the system generates the necessary revenue for the benefit of the state while placing any undue burden on taxpayers. And for those of us who've listened carefully to the minister, we do know that he is very high on compliance instead of new policies.
And now let's head to the court. And the Supreme Court has ordered lawyers for the NDC parliamentary candidates of Ablekuma North, Akankwe Central, Techiman South and Tema Central to file documents in response to the Electoral Commission. The electoral body filed documents to oppose the NDC's application to quash the High Court decision, which ordered a collation and declaration of results of the disputed constituencies. Lodi Duasari reports.
Apex Court on Thursday, April 3, Counsel for the National Democratic Congress candidates led by Seth Nyaba prayed for an order to extend the time to file a reply to the Electoral Commission's affidavit opposing the substantive request to quash the High Court's decision.
Counsel for the Electoral Commission, Justin Amenuwa, vehemently opposed the application filed by the lawyers of the NDC. He argued that they have had the last 2 months to file their responses since he filed this response to their application in January of this year. So listening to the responses, Justice Dakwa Asare granted the application filed by the lawyers of the NDC and ordered them to file their responses within 7 days. Same orders went to the interested parties for them to file their responses as well.
Lawyer for the NDC parliamentary candidates spoke after the hearing.
In the EC's statement of case, they made reference to a letter that was written by the EC to the Minority Caucus in 2020 in relation to the Techiman South parliamentary election issues in 2020. But that letter is not before the court. So it's part of the reasons why we want to attach that letter to our supplementary affidavit in response to the EC's affidavit in opposition to our application. And then in the EC statement of case, they've also raised some fundamental legal issues which we deem it necessary to respond to by way of writing.
To see how things will look like in the coming days as the substantive case is yet to be heard. Lord Gasari, TV3 News, Supreme Court, Accra.
Well, that's how we end the morning news. For more news updates, just log on to our website, it's the3news.com. Thanks for watching. It's always a pleasure coming your way. Good morning.